demonic sword Blood Tears was taken from his father by Priest Aldian, due to his inability to pay back a loan. In the process of his father trying to fight back to keep the heritage of his family, he is killed. The high-ranking priest and the ringleaders of the economic crisis that happened at the time deceived many investors, including Ned's father, into buying useless financial products. This caused all the investors to lose all their money, forcing them to the streets. Since then, Ned stayed alive to avenge the death of his father, searching all over the world for the Blood Tears. He finds it difficult to believe when Zephyr tells him the sword is with his master. Ned begins to think that his master has been deceiving him, and he is confused about what to do next. They both, alongside the other raid party members, head to the tomb of the abominable princess to begin the dungeon raid. Meanwhile, at the Temple of Light, Bishop Alfonso Giornetti, the head priest of Temple of Light's third parish, meets Priest Aldian Lasker, a demon god worshipper. The raid party members begin to combat demon skeletons in the dungeon. Suddenly, a bone golem, made from a combination of hundreds of skeletons, appears. Lord Matthias manages to destroy it, but many more begin to appear as they are being controlled by the skeleton mage. If they must clear up the bone golems, they have to destroy the mage. They attempt to make their way to the mage, however, Captain Lucius steps in with the Spear of Brilliant Light and destroys all the bone golems, including the ancient tombstone which supplies magic power to the mage. The 8th floor is now cleared and they decide to set up camp there while they plan for the next day. Zephyr discovers secret access, the contraption he knew should be there, having seen it before in his past life. He activates it and the different parts of the dungeon start to move. But before that, something happened. At the gathering of the demon god worshippers, the day before the raid party members were announced, they all plan how they will steal the dragon heart during the dungeon raid. Matthias Grimmer tells them that Captain Lucius borrowed a legendary item called the Stake of Faith from the Pope. Since the gate to the boss room closes once the boss room is entered, Captain Lucius plans to stick the item between the doors so they can escape when necessary. The demon god worshippers are given the hypnosis ocarina to awaken Shaga to buy them more time while they escape. They are also provided with special drugs to temporarily disannul the effects of the slave's brand on them. Back to the present, Zephyr goes against the plan and awakens the Shagos before time to distract everyone while he aims to activate the contraption. He starts to run through the path created by the contraption, heading for the boss room. Captain Lucius tries to use the slave's brand, but it doesn't affect him. He then uses the Spear of Brilliant Light, but Zephyr evades it with one of his perks called Strong Luck. Ned follows after him as they had initially planned. Ned had discovered that all that Zephyr told him is true and has made his decision to work with him. He is quite angry that he has been deceived all his life by his master and seeks to destroy the Temple of Light and the demon god worshippers. As they run, they meet the gatekeeper of the boss room, but manage to avoid his attack and slip in through a gap to the boss room before it closes. The boss appears and is surprised that they could avoid her knight. Meanwhile, Captain Lucius is disturbed as he wonders why the slave's brand didn't work on Zephyr. He later discovers that there are lots of demon god worshippers in the party, and all the facts lead him to Matthias. Captain Lucius then approaches Matthias. The boss is Princess Eurydica, the owner of the tomb who killed her people 1,000 years ago. Ned falls for her illusion, thinking she is a serene and beautiful person and tries to go help her, but Zephyr holds him back. Then Ned discovers it was a trap to ensnare him and make him her prey. Princess Eurydica changes form and starts to attack them with a dark hand skill, which absorbs the stamina and magic power of her enemies. The god of loans, Uzra, is earnestly waiting to see Zephyr fail. Meanwhile, Matthias and the other demon god worshippers prepare to fight Captain Lucius. Matthias signals to his members with his fingers that they should drink the special drug that temporarily disannuls the effect of the slave's brand at the count of 3. However, Captain Lucius catches him off guard as he commands everyone to attack him before he could finish counting. They all face Matthias to attack him. Matthias kills them all, being very skilled, but Captain Lucius overpowers him and chains him with chains of light. However, Matthias resorts to using his last card, the Stone of Revelation, which then turns him into a demon. They try to attack him, but he is not affected. Captain Lucius then attempts to use the Spear of Brilliant Light to attack, but Matthias resists it. Lady Leona remembers the subspace case containing the Stake of Light, which was entrusted to her by Captain Lucius, and she tries to use it. Unfortunately, she discovers that it's been stolen from her. Ned took it along with him. At the boss room, Zephyr and Ned continue to combat Princess Eurydica until they finally cut her head off. However, the battle is not yet over. Eurydica starts to change form, the very moment they've been waiting for. A transformation process begins when the boss head is destroyed, and during this process, she can't move or use any skills. Ned unleashes the Stake of Faith weapon item and sends it toward her. The item begins to release its strong divine energy, causing damage to the boss. After a while, the Stake of Faith's ignition stops, which signifies that the enemy has been incapacitated. Suddenly, Georgius, the gatekeeper of the boss room, releases its mana, which combines with the incapacitated boss and revives her, changing her form. They try to attack her, but she is unaffected due to using the space distortion skill. She then tries to attack Ned, but Zephyr stops her by shooting out Spider Queen's web from his palm. Zephyr uses the reinforcement technique to draw her to himself, and Ned goes for an attack. However, Ned feels the effect of his slash on his body as Eurydice uses the Black Mirror magic, which reflects damages received by 300%. She then attacks Ned with the Dark Hand skill. Zephyr attacks her with the Thunderclap Palm technique and blocks the flow of her mana. Zephyr uses the item he bought from Lady White Rose, a rosary engraved with miracles. To save Ned from dying, however, Zephyr receives an attack from Eurydica which affects a lot of damage to him. Lady White Rose, back at the temple, suddenly feels that something might be wrong with Zephyr and wishes that she got him a higher capacity rosary. Zephyr, having used up all his items and weapons, is now defenseless against Eurydica. He considers which of his perks he can use, but discovers that none is the best fit. He then decides to do one last thing before he dies, if at all he would die. He starts to draw a symbol on the ground. The symbol is the proof that the gods lost disgracefully in the past, and any human who draws it receives divine punishment and dies. However, Zephyr is yet to complete the symbol before Angel Mercedes appears, asking him how he knows about the symbol. He requests that the gods pay him, thus getting the angel angry. She threatens to kill him with Zephyr, knowing that the gods need him alive so he could keep entertaining them, calls out to all the gods that they should give him more abilities, as there is no other human that can entertain them if he dies now. This gets the interest of Aria, the goddess of light, and she empowers him with the ability to use the Sword of Light. Zephyr launches an attack at Eurydica with a skill called Yahai-Or, which means let there be light. The skill, having the highest grade curse removal effect, removes the curse placed on Eurydica, and she returns to her human form. She tells Zephyr the story of how it all happened. Georgius presented the dragon heart to her after he killed the black dragon. They used to love each other. Eurydica took the dragon heart to the last floor of the tomb, a great magic circle, to purify the curse on it. She used the magic circle's power to extend her life by 1,000 years till she finally succeeded in purifying the dragon heart. However, the curse eroded her and she lost her human form. Eurydica is grateful that Zephyr and his companion pulled her out of darkness and asks how she can repay them. She asks him why he wants the dragon heart, and Zephyr tells her to read his memories. Meanwhile, Captain Lucius continues to fight with Matthias. Matthias uses the demon race exclusive skill Seizure to retrieve the power of the branded worms from the remaining disguised demon god worshippers. He then attacks the Saints of Light, but Captain Lucius resists it. After Eurydica reads Zephyr's memories, he begs her to transplant the dragon heart into him, so he can win against the invasion of the demon race in the future. However, she declines. What will Zephyr do, knowing that this has always been his plan? Will Eurydica eventually give in to his request? If you like content like this, make sure to like this video and subscribe. And let us know if you want part 3 in the comment section. See you guys in the next video.